Welcome back to the No BS podcast, where we discuss how to escape the 9-to-5 grind,
We'll also cover how to live the laptop life and make money online.
as well as proven power habits and routines to amplify your day.
And just a disclaimer, we are not claiming to be financial advisors. We are purely speaking through personal experience.
So with all of that said, let's get this party started, baby.
Whoop, whoop. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. We are here live, loving life, and today I'm joined by my co-host JT. For those of you who don't know, my name's Ev, and in this episode right here, right now, over the next however many minutes, I'm not able to predict that far into the future, but over however many minutes, we're going to talk about the 3 phases to monetize your passion online, make money online, this whole, hot topic. So what is poppin', JT? What is up?
Not much, man. Excited about this episode. Like you said, however many minutes, I'm sure the two of us could ramble on for hours. So yeah, we're getting into monetizing your passion online. That is kind of the key topic for today's discussion. So where do you want to start with this one, Evan?
I think we should start by saying, hello, it's a good day. I hope you're loving life, whoever's listening right now. Hope you're happy. Hope you're ready to crush another day. Hope you're ready to take a passion and monetize it online, because that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this episode. I don't know. You want to cover the 3 phases? Do you know what they are, JT? You want to give them out?
For sure, Evan. So quick overview. We're going to, of course, get into it a little more, but 3 phases to monetizing your passion online from the No BS Nomads crew here. These are the 3 phases that we've kind of determined are getting you from that starting point to being monetized. So get focused is the first phase, of course.
Absolutely.
I think that's your favorite one. Get digital. It's probably my favorite, and getting monetized is everybody's favorite.
That's what I was going to say. Absolutely. Making some moolah, hey? From a passion. I love it. Yeah. Phase 1, as JT just said, is get focused. That's definitely my favorite one. That's the mindset. That's knowing your niche. That's figuring out where you're going to go all in, what mountain, what GOAT mountain, greatest of all time, you're going to climb, where you're going to serve online, taking your skills, your talents, your passions, your abilities, and finding a way to monetize them. Step 2, JT, you want to dive in? That's your fave.
Get digital. So this is where you're going to determine your branding, figuring out if you're doing personal branding, product branding, and then claiming your digital real estate. Of course, in the name Get Digital, you want to claim that digital real estate, choosing a platform, figuring out where you're going to be posting your social content and your digital content, and claiming that real estate per se in getting that name that you want, or whatever that the hashtag is that you're trying to use and stuff like that, right?
Totally, man. You got to claim that rare digital real estate these days. So many people are searching for their actual name online as a domain, and they can't get it because they just haven't claimed it. So claiming that digital real estate is so big. And phase 3 is what everybody loves, getting monetized, finding that niche, that specific, unique niche that's going to help you stand out. Use what you have, the knowledge in your head, to innovate or even affiliate with someone else's product, or create your own product by innovating, and how to market it, how to create a product or service, or how to market a product or service. We're also going to talk about free traffic versus paid traffic, and some little tricks and tips about free traffic versus paid traffic. And that's going to conclude it up. Get focused, get digital, get monetized. Do we want to dive in, JT?
Let's get it.
Let's get it. All right. Where shall we start?
So phase 1, step 1, uncovering your passion. I think that's a good place to start. Of course, in that first uncovering your passion, we need to do a self-inventory. If you want to give us a quick breakdown on the self-inventory.
Totally, man. Totally. Yeah. So this is something we cover more in depth inside the video course that we have inside of our portal, the How to Discover Your Perfect Online Niche. We'll talk about more of that later if you guys are interested. But the self-inventory is basically taking a self-analysis of all your skills, all your abilities, your passions, what you're interested in, and just really getting to know yourself a little more. As weird and yes, as weird as that sounds, getting to know yourself a little more. When I first heard that, I was like, dude, I know who I am, but it's so not true. So self inventory basically means taking out a piece of paper. It means taking out a piece of paper or using Google Docs and literally writing down all of your answers to these questions. What are my passions? What am I good at? What do I like? What do I love? What am I interested in? What skills, abilities, talents do I have? What are other people commenting me on? So writing all this down, and what gets repeated gets remembered. So when you have it in one place, now it's so easy to go have a look at this list and kind of like add a few things together, change things around, and really get to know yourself. And yeah, that's definitely step one. Part of step one, actually, there's definitely more parts to it, but JT is going to cover the next part of step one.
Exactly, Evan. So self-inventory, asking all these important questions to yourself and writing them down, having this huge database of answers. Excuse me. After you have that database, you want to get to narrowing everything down. This is where you start asking yourself other questions again. And this is where you figure out order of importance on this database, figuring out which ones are most important to you, which ones you're most passionate about, and et cetera. Other questions, of course, there's so many questions you can ask yourself when it comes to this stuff. Once you start narrowing it down, the, I guess, next little part of that step is going to be committing to one, right? Because ultimately we can't do everything. We can't, I can't be a professional vlogger, photographer, car salesman, mechanic, and
nomad, entrepreneur,
yeah, right? I can't do everything. Yeah,
hockey
exactly.
player.
Yeah, exactly. We can't do everything. So it's getting it down to one thing and committing to that specific passion.
That's kind of sad. Some people don't want to hear that you can't do everything. There's an awesome saying that I've been trying to live by lately is you can do anything, but you can't do it all at once, right? The human mind is the most powerful thing on this planet. I know that sounds kind of weird and in outer space, but you can literally do anything you want. Look at all the inventions and creations that other humans have done before us. So monetizing a passion online isn't that hard when you compare it to landing on Mars or the moon or building cars that drive themselves. So it's totally something you could do, but you can't do everything at once. So we have to commit to that one idea, that one niche, that one service path that we want to take digital and really go all in on, become the greatest at, and serve the best we can. So I love that. That's definitely step one. That's how you uncover your passion. You take a self inventory, write down all your answers. You narrow it down by scratching the ones off that you don't want to do long term, that you don't want to wake up and do every day, that you're not fully passionate about, that you don't want to become the greatest at. And then you have to decide which one you're going to commit to. And it doesn't have to be one. I thought about this a lot when I was trying to figure out my niche, and it doesn't have to be one specific one. You can kind of add like a few ideas together even and be unique. And that's kind of a cool aspect. You want to jump on to step 2 here, JT?
Yeah. So speaking of specific niche, step 2, of course, is determining that specific niche, right? So now that you've committed to one passion, you need to figure out that specific niche for that passion. And like you said, creating something and not competing is always a great option. And then, of course, once you determine that, in this step, also, you kind of have to do some market research on what's going on in that niche, what's going on in those sub niches, and how, of course, you can be unique with it all.
Love that. That's so true. And there's this effect that I love saying. I kind of live by this too. It's called the peacock effect. If you want to stand out in a crowded marketplace, if you want to stand out among your friends and be different, which is so hard in today's world, use the peacock effect. If you ever seen a peacock, they spread their wings nice and wide and they have all these bright colors to grab attention. And the peacock who stands out the most is the one that gets all the mates. So for you and your business, for your online niche, be a peacock, stand out, be bright, be big, be weird, be different. And your weirdness is your strength. So that's the big thing here is once you commit to one, find your unique passion and be different inside of it.
Exactly. I like it. That's probably one of my favorite Ev quotes slash ideas and philosophies, I guess you could say.
Damn, that's going deep. The peacock philosophy.
Yeah, right. The peacock method, as I like to call it. Definitely a good way to look at it. Like you said, it's being unique today is not as easy as what it used to be, right? I mean, you've got over 4.6 billion people on the internet as daily users.
4.6 billion.
Yeah, man, 4.6 billion people online every day. And
what's the e-commerce number? You know that number so good. 4.6 billion online. What's the e-com number?
Global e-commerce sales for 2020 was just over $4.28 trillion.
Trillion.
Damn. 12 zeros. I had to make sure of that. So yeah, 12 zeros, $4.28 trillion. And it's only growing, right? It's only growing.
That is bonkers. So yeah, being unique is important for sure.
Exactly, right? Being unique, standing out, that's what's really going to level up on being able to monetize and being successful online in today's world.
Totally. We want to jump into the next phase. So that's phase one, guys. Get focused. Find that passion that you're going to take online. Be unique with that passion. Commit to it. And phase two, here we go.
Phase two, get digital, guys. This is obviously, I mean, one of the bigger phases and steps in this section, because obviously to be able to monetize your passion online, you have to get online.
It's funny how that works. Yeah.
Right. So basically, the way we've broken phase two down, the first section of phase two is going to be branding. So this is obviously where you're going to have to figure out, are you doing personal branding? Are you doing product branding? So one of my favorite ways to distinguish the two, and I'm sure Evan's going to have a good laugh at this. He laughs every time. Personal branding is like an influencer on Instagram and Facebook and all this stuff. Totally. You know who they are because of that, right? That's their brand is themselves.
It's like a face to it, right? It's your face. Your face is your branding. Totally.
Exactly. Product branding, on the other hand, is like Heinz ketchup, right? Because I bet you 9 out of 10, if not 10 out of 10 people listening to this right now, including myself and Evan, because I don't know, can't tell you who runs or who does any of the creation for Heinz.
So true.
You
like
know
that,
them for the product.
That is so true, right? You know the product, you know Heinz, but you have no idea of the faces behind it, right? That's the difference between personal face branding or faceless product branding. Love that. Love that. Want to talk a little bit about each, or you feel like you covered that for this podcast?
Do you have anything you want to add into each section? I mean, I don't know how long we want to run here with this, because I'm sure we could talk about this phase for the next half hour, I'm sure.
I'm totally sure we could too. Personally, I think that both are important too, because nowadays you see people like or businesses like Gymshark who have not only a personal brand behind the actual product brand, but it's also like this culture, this team. So don't feel like you need to be specifically personal or product. You can do both, but again, be specific, commit, and be unique. Just like step one, you got to get focused. Other than that, guys, you just got to decide which path you're going to take. If you're going to go a personal path, where you're going to be more of an influencer, where you're going to share as the face of it, or if you're going to be more faceless and share it as like a company, as a product, as a community, as a culture. So you just got to make that choice. And the next step in here, I'll jump right into it, is once you understand where you're branding to, if you're doing personal, if you're doing product branding, now you got to start claiming your digital real estate. And I absolutely love this phase, claim your digital real estate. As we mentioned earlier, there is 4 billion people using the internet right now. if you want to get a domain name, if you want to get that IG name, that YouTube name, TikTok name these days, Twitter name, you got to claim it. You got to get it taken care of. And that goes back to being unique again. If you're going to do a product brand, try and find a unique name that covers your purpose of your product. So inside here, you're going to choose the platform that you're going to focus on, especially if you're a one-man team, one-woman team, whatever it is. And you also got to claim the rest of the real estate. If you're going to be an Instagram marketer, you should also get your name on YouTube. You should also get your name on TikTok, on Twitter, as your domain name. You should claim them all so you have them. Anything you want to add to that, JT?
Not a whole bunch. That's a great explanation for it, Evan. Like you said, choosing your platform, right? It's fine to start with one, right? It's, you don't want to, bite off too much, but like you said, it's a very, very, very busy market, right? So If you decide that, hey, I want to use, Jolly Ranchers. I got Jolly Ranchers here. It's the first thing that comes to mind. You want to use Jolly Ranchers as your username, and you're starting with YouTube, but maybe down the road you think you're going to want to use Twitter, or you're going to want to use Instagram and TikTok and all this other stuff. If you think that you're going to want to go do that, if you can scratch it off completely and say, you know what, I'm never going to do any of those, by all means, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But if that's something you think, down the road, I want to start an Instagram, I want to get some posts going and make some more content, right? Go and try to figure out what is available for all of the ones that you're potentially going to use, and find one that's going to be available for all of them, and then claim that right away. You don't need to use it, but being able to have it so you can say 6 months down the road, hey, I want to start an Instagram. Oh, Jolly Ranchers is taken. Well, now you're going to have to come up with something that's different, and it's not going to be the same as your YouTube or your Twitter. And having all of them as the same thing is a very powerful thing in today's online world.
In branding, absolutely. There's tools out there, guys, that you could go check. JT knows an awesome tool that you can go online and check and see if it's all available on all the different platforms. You just type in the name that you're looking for, and it will come up if it's available on all the different platforms. If the domain name's available, it's a super powerful tool. If JT wants to share it in a little bit, he's more than welcome. I think he's looking it up here now as I look on his screen, which is awesome. But another thing, guys, if you don't claim that real estate on all of the platforms, on all the social media platforms, even the new ones that come out, you might end up ruining the brand, because if someone else claims it and they start taking it in a different direction than the culture you want to build around your brand, then it's not going to be a good social image, a good digital image for your brand. So you want to claim them all. I mean, we're diving way too deep in this right now. We should move on to the next step, but JT's totally going to share that tool right now that you should use. What is it, JT?
So the one that we have used personally to come up with, of course, the No BS Nomads and some other stuff, name checker. So name check and then just an R.
Name checker.
Super, super powerful website. Completely free. You can go on it. You can type it in. It'll tell you on all of the different platforms if it's available. That's how we went through our process of course, getting our name. We went through so many. We must have spent a couple hours at least, right?
Totally. And I think that's important, dude. Like, not to just jump on the first name. I think you should really think about what kind of name you're going to put on your brand, because it's an image that goes into people's heads, right? So putting a bit of work into your name is also important. I'm glad you brought that up, JT. That's really important.
Exactly.
So, moving on here, getting focused was phase 1. Getting digital was phase 2. Now let's jump into phase 3, which is getting monetized.
Everybody's favorite, am I right?
You're right.
All right. So phase 3, get monetized. In that, you have a couple steps, of course. First being monetization is kind of the title of this one. You need to figure out if you're innovating a product or if you're doing some kind of affiliate products, right? So there's different steps depending on that process, right? If you're designing a completely new product, then you're going to have to go through design, fabrication, testing, all that kind of stuff. So there's a bit more in that process of that innovation section, right? Whereas affiliate, you can basically in a short form of what affiliate marketing is I'm going to take your product and I'm going to promote it to other people, and you're going to pay me when people buy it from me, right?
Commission.
So you're going to make commissions from selling other people's products, which that's going to eliminate some of the steps from the innovation. And they both have their ups and downs, right? So
Totally. And I heard a wise man once say that business is innovation and marketing. And the cool thing about affiliate marketing is you cut out the innovation. Somebody else has already created the product or the service, and what you need to do is sell it. And selling is a high income skill. It is a powerful skill. Learning how to close, learning how to make funnels, learning how to do ads, which we're going to get into in the next step here. But dude, if you are trying to get online, the fastest, simplest way, cut out the innovation part and just learn to market. That is a great way to jump online. It's a great way to even go into a niche that you love and commit to it, but still enjoy what you do. So with that said, another step here inside getting monetized is figuring out how you're going to market it. So once again, you need to either innovate a product or pick one that you're going to sell. And then we need to talk about free traffic versus paid traffic. So using social media is a great way to gain free traffic. So if you're doing posts on Instagram or on TikTok, which is super duper hot right now, which is wild. So if you want to get free traffic, that's your chance. So we can get free traffic through making posts, making social media content, and as JT likes to say, being consistent with that content. And another way to put it is being around the campfire, right? Be where the attention's at, be where the energy's at, be where the stories are at, and then you can gain free attention traffic and awareness like that versus paid traffic. So now we got free traffic taken care of. Let's talk about paid traffic. Paid traffic is obvious. It's ads. You can do TikTok ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, YouTube ads. There's no end to the ads you can do. I'm sure you can get ads absolutely everywhere today. And that's pretty well going to take care of itself there. Paid ads are when you can target a specific audience, and it's important that you know which audience you're going to target. I've heard of a lot of people just dishing out a bunch of money for ads and had no idea where they were putting those ads or who they were targeting, and that was just money down the drain. So I'm going to let JT talk a little bit about traffic and social media marketing.
I like how you bring me to that. I mean, that's I've been there, and I've wasted money on paid traffic trying to learn how to pick target audiences and how specific you can get and all that stuff. And when it comes down to it, like you said, you don't want to be throwing money down the drain, and being able to figure out exactly who your target audience is, or how you like to say your target avatar is, your ideal customer, your person,
the prospect. Loving
exactly. Right. So figuring out who that is, and then really putting that down into a specific targeted audience, because then if you have a specific target audience, you can spend money on an ad that's going to be shown to 5,000 people and have 500 people get your product or service, compared to paying twice as much to have 10,000 people see it and it being a very, very broad audience. And then 20 people get it.
It's like selling knitting supplies to like children, right? Like that's not going to work. You don't sell knitting supplies to the kids on TikTok. I'll let you continue.
Exactly. Right. It's figuring out who you want to sell your product to, who's the ideal person to get it, and then working that into your audiences and your targeted audiences to optimize that paid advertising. Now, of course, paid advertising isn't a necessity. Like Evan said, free traffic is a great way. It is a little bit more work, and it takes a little bit more time typically, because you have to grow that organic traffic. Whereas paying an ad to have 10,000 people see it in 5 days, you won't have that kind of organic traffic. Typically, it does happen. Like you said, TikTok's really hot right now, and there's people blowing up every single day.
So true.
From 200 followers to 200,000 followers.
And is that going to happen to everyone? Absolutely not. It could happen, but is it something that you can rely on? Is it certain? No. I mean, if your video is going to go viral, if your content is going to go viral, that's totally out of your hands. So We like to do a combination of both. We think using free traffic and paid traffic is the winner. So that is something for you to think about as well. And I want to add another point here, guys, is that learning to create ads, learning to market, learning to get digital, learning to get focused and picking a niche, these are all skills. Doing self-inventory, going all the way back to where we began, that is a skill. You have to sit down in a quiet space without distractions and really ask yourself questions and get to know yourself. That is a skill. That is not that easy to do. Not everyone does that every day. And another key point here is do what other people won't do, because if you follow everyone else, you're going to get what everyone else gets. So be different. Do self-inventory, learn that skill, do marketing, do sales, serve online, be different. And this is a learning process. Don't ever forget that. And we're going to bring this podcast to an end here soon. JT, you got anything else to add about these 3 phases?
Yeah, I kind of want to bring it back a little bit to what you said a minute ago when you say,
okay,
today, do what others won't. Mm-hmm. Very famous football player, Jerry Rice, had a quote, and he said, "Today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can accomplish what others can't."
That's so powerful.
Very, very, very powerful quote, guys. And you saying what you said kind of brought me to that quote and that idea, because if you do that, that's how you succeed, right? Like
totally
taking those steps and beginning is where you're going to succeed, instead of just talking about it or just thinking about it, right? Mm-hmm. Taking action and taking those steps is what's going to initially get you started with those phases, right?
Absolutely. Action trumps all, guys. Don't just be like everyone else and dream it, talk about it. Go take action. Learn from your failures. Nothing's perfect. It's like your mom looking at you when you were like 1 year old being like, "Oh, let's try and walk now, little JT." And you don't do it, right? And you fall on your face. Bam. She's like, "No, my kid's not going to be a walker." Hell no. You get back up, you try again, and you try again, and you try again, right? It's the same thing in business. It's the same thing in service. It's the same thing when it comes to tying your shoes or learning a new skill. You just got to get back up, take action, try again. And it comes down to, why are you doing it? This is what I realized through my experience in life, is it comes down to why. If you don't have a strong enough why to convert your passion and monetize it online and serve it online, if you don't have a strong why, the reason backing it all, then when it gets tough, you're just going to run away. You're going to quit. And the reason why I know that is because I've done it. Like, I've started the business with the wrong why, with the wrong intention, with something I'm not passionate about, and I didn't put effort into it. At first I did, but then it dies down. That fire dies down, right? So that's another thing for you to think about when you're uncovering your passion, is to think about why you want to do this. And that's why it's important to start with a passion. Start with something that you enjoy. Start with something that you're happy about. And everything will grow from there if you do not quit, if you stay persistent and you just keep going, keep learning, keep building. And yeah, let's conclude this podcast, JT. I'm sure we've been on here for long enough.
Yeah, I think that's a good time. I think we covered what we were going to talk about, and hopefully everybody enjoyed going through those phases with us, and hopefully you learned a little bit.
Totally.
We do cover all of these 3 phases quite a bit more in depth in our free step-by-step guide on how to monetize your passion. Completely free. There's going to be a link that you guys can check out. And go get that. Like you said, there's a lot more. I think last time I checked, it's like over 3,000 words. So it's getting to be a little bit of a book almost now at this point compared to a guide, right?
Just about, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of information packed into that, guys. I'm glad JT brought that up. You should totally go check it out. If you're interested and serious about taking a passion and monetizing it online, this is the ultimate step-by-step guide to do so. We put a lot of work into this guide. It's absolutely free because we're on a mission to help hundreds of go-getters live a life on their own terms on the internet by monetizing a passion. So that's exactly why we're giving it to you for absolutely free to get you started. So go check it out. And remember, get focused. Get focus, be clear, commit, be unique, get digital, brand yourself personally when it comes to a product or personally, and claim your real estate, and then get monetized. It's time to innovate. It's time to affiliate. It's time to market. It's time to sell. It's time to create some funnels. It's time to start serving. This has been the No BS podcast, baby. I'm Ev.
And I'm JT.
Peace.
Whoop, whoop.